flag that he's guilty and he's just a bad liar.
I'll make sure that anybody who takes our sides will be attacked with everything that they have. They took our heart off from us. Why can't nobody get that through their fucking head?
Planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma. They bring her back to us safe and sound.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up.
Hello, my name is Dee, and you're watching Slop. Shit left on the plate. Well, donwells, why don't you do that? Why don't you call L.E.? Why don't you call Ronnie Lawson or Detective Pruitt, and why don't you clear that up? Why don't you tell them all you know about your daughter's abduction, as you say? It didn't take him long to figure out she was abducted. About 10 minutes. It might not have been a planned thing, but that day, donwells knew that day was coming for a long, long time. He always knew something was going to happen to Summer. This little girl was not abducted. The parents know exactly where she's at. The part of their story that upsets me the most is that they put the boys as the last people to see Summer. And they know, Candace knows, and her mother knows, they're the last ones to see Summer. The whole of it is, they might have told part of the truth, but they didn't tell all of the truth. And they need to be interrogated by some decent law enforcement. If you think back, all the lies started when that truck rolled up at 110 benhillroad and Candace and Grandma got out of the truck. That's when the lies started.
I don't know, it seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck.
She said she's never seen that truck. She's never heard of it. But everybody and his mother and his brother around there has a red truck with ladder racks and buckets in the back. Don's boss has one with ladder racks and buckets in the back. Jody Sue's mom has one with ladder racks and buckets in the back, but the rack might be gone by now. The Sheriff's had one, Tim Mullins had one. Even Robin Lane had a red Toyota truck.
And I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
One red flag for me is how dramatic Candace gets when somebody asks why Summer's head was shaved. Her and Don's story don't match up. They gave two different stories why Summer's head was shaved. But why the strong reaction? Look at the way she moves her body and her face when asked about Summer's head. Something is not right here.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her head
back and
herself.
make it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So
He tells a little bit of truth when he says something was getting out of control, but Dawn, Summer wasn't getting out of control cutting her hair. You were the one getting out of control. You told part of the truth. You didn't tell all of the truth. You were the one out of control, Mr. Wells. Why spend so much energy defending something that if it was just plain and simple that you shaved heads for lice, but why all the energy spending on the defense of why Summer's head was shaved? That tells me it was for a nefarious reason.
Well, we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her at this point.
At this point? What point was he talking about? That this was 2 weeks after Summer was reported missing. They hadn't had a lot of time to refine their script yet, and it was a little off. Found out very quickly that when they both tried to explain something, that their script didn't work out well. So then Donwells started doing most of the talking after that. So you see, it was all a script all along.
And make it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control.
Donwells is the one that was getting out of control. We saw the after effect of what he did in 2020. He tried to hurt Summer when Candace was on a 911 call. Think about that for a minute. That's something very, very, very deep. When I hear people say, oh, he was drunk, he didn't mean it, my ears do not register those words. It's a shame when grown adults can't even behave like adults when they're around children. And Donwells has a bad, bad problem with that. He has all his life. He'll never change. Never. There's no rehabilitation for him. It's a sick man that'll put his hands on a child for that reason. And the first man has been ordered to be castrated in the United States for doing that same thing just this week.
She shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad.
This was part of the unrefined script. They told two different stories. Candace said Summer wanted her head shaved. Now, if Summer wanted her head shaved, she wouldn't have been upset about it, and Candace wouldn't have had her made her feel better about it. Donwells and Candus Bly have been lying since the first interview. They're lying. They're liars. When I first heard about this story, I thought Candace was guilty and Don was innocent. That's how this story has been designed to make you feel that way. It's all convoluted. And let me tell you something, it took more than these two people to come up with this story that the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department is bamboozled by, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation must be bamboozled by it too, because they're making no movement, they're doing nothing, and it's time to do something, somebody.
And, but it didn't bother her at this point.
Now, didn't he just say that Candace had to shave her head too to make Summer feel better? But now he says, but it didn't bother her at this point. I guess it's not bothering her at this point, Dawn. She probably don't feel any pain right now. She's probably with Jesus, holding his right hand. Y'all haven't looked for her one time because you know where she's at. Now, why don't you tell us where she is? Y'all some low-down, rotten, deceiving. How could y'all do that little girl like that, Donwells? And it's all to satisfy Daddy. Oh, he's still using it. And it's 2024. Donwells is very resistant to change. That's what tells me he could never be rehabilitated for his sexual problems that he has. He was doing it at 12 years old, and he was most likely still doing it at 56 years old. He's resistant to change. He gets set in a routine, and that's what he does. He don't change. Look how he gave Candace a bottle every day at 5:30 for years. I bet she was passed out, drunker than Cooter Brown by 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Then he could do what he wanted to do. Groomers of children have to have a routine. They have to have a routine.
Yeah, Starling. Baby, don't break the door, please. Please don't break the door. Please don't break the door.
I asked you a question.
What?
And you asked, okay, Starling.
I was talking to her. What?
Stop lying.
She asked me, what? What's your question? What? I'm listening. Come on, man. What?
Well, that real itches. I asked you scratches.
I'm just to show your ass live while I'm live. Stop it. It's fucking live, you dumbass.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Can't stop.
Okay, whatever. Play your little game, Donnie.
Alright, I'm gonna have to go. She don't think we're live and shit, okay? And she's fucking going off and acting like an alcoholic. I have to get off here now.
That's fine. Thank
I
you so much
appreciate
for
y'all.
talking to us.
Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. You know, I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, you know, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do.
Take this as an example of how much opposition there is between Dawn and Candace. Candace offered him a word and he just brushed her off. Just didn't even acknowledge that she said that. That tells me a lot about Don Wells. He's a selfish, self-centered something.
One step at a time, I guess, but I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, you know, and I feel for them. But I just wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses.
I remember hearing that somewhere in another case, too.
And then if they're not willing, you know, get a search warrant or something, but there's just no way you can search every single house, you know, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way.
He wishes there was a way. With Don Wells and Candus Bly, Dave Rader offered to help you search for your daughter. The Cold Case Foundation offered to take the case, but you refused it. That would have been your best bet. That would have been 100 times better than YouTube. But you said you came to YouTube to get help, but you couldn't get help. You don't want help, Mr. Wells. You refused it. What else can people do for you because you haven't looked for your daughter one single day? And the searches with Tim Mullen on the top of your mountain don't count because that wasn't a search. That was a publicity video. We know the difference.
Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that, you know, out of love, trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
It means a lot.
It meant so much to you and you really wanted to find your daughter. Why did you come on YouTube cussing everybody out? Everybody. You haven't been nice to anybody. But y'all thought this case would never blow up like it has.
We thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady.
He's talking about a 5-year-old like she was a 20 or 21-year-old girl.
Want her back.
Chris Watts said that same thing. Guess who else said that same thing? Megan. Chris Watts isn't getting his family back. Megan Boswell isn't getting her little girl back. 'Cause they killed him.
Yeah, there's always going to be haters, and it's always going to be that way.
I hope I see your day in court, Mr. Wells.
And we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are trying to help us and praying for us.
It's not what you did, Don Wells. You did just the opposite of that. You were combatant to everybody. You cussed everybody out. Even people that tried to help you, you cussed them out.
7 alibis.
What?
If not more. Baby, don't break my fucking door. Come on. Really? Come on. Don't break the fucking door. Open it then. You dumb bitch. Oh, you call me a dumb bitch? You break my fucking door? Fuck you. You dumb motherfucker. I have 7 alibis. I have 7 alibis. Candace ain't got none. She's going down. Yep. Yep. Yep.
You're not a very good father. And you're not a very good missing child's father. Justice for Summer Wells and her brothers. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share. May God bless, and I'll see y'all soon.